Welcome to our Rolemaster actual play session. Twilight of the Old Order and Ain't No Place for a Hero are two campaigns, currently co-joined, set in the world of Duranarki, the continent of men. The game system used in our game is Rolemaster Classic, with a liberal inclusion of home rules. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favor. This is episode 95 of Twilight of the Old Order and episode 73 of Ain't No Place for a Hero. The two parties have located the arcane lodestones they have been seeking, and now are attempting to make their escape, a strange, multi-dimensional place known as the In-Between. We rejoin our heroes, along with their badly injured guide, the novice Astral Traveller Afsoon, as they venture out into the purple fog of the In-Between, and towards what they hope is salvation. Hello, I'm Chris, otherwise known as GM Chance, and welcome to our story. Up on screen are the player characters that are our heroes in our story this evening. As you'll see, there are quite a few of them, 12 in fact. Why? Because we have two campaigns, two stories, which have melded into one. Six player characters in each game. In a second, I'm going to hand over and ask each one of our players tonight to introduce who they're going to be playing. Just before I do, however, a massive shout out to our viewers, to our supporters, to our friends, people who have been kind enough to comment or ask questions or just generally be interested in our story. This is something that we do for fun. We love our gaming, and it's really nice to share it with an audience, and it's fantastic to get the feedback back. So thank you very much for those that are returning viewers, and for those that are watching our story for the first time. Really hope you enjoy the game. You get some laughs, you get some ideas, and it fuels your imagination. We've got a fantastic selection of now quite experienced role players, and who know that and love their characters well. The other big shout out is we have 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. So we're exactly sitting on 100 people who have ticked that little box down below saying that they want to subscribe to the channel. That's fantastic. And again, thank you for your support. Just before I hand over to the first of our players, off screen previously, before we clicked record, I've asked the players, I should say, 3 character questions. A bit about their character's background, their likes, their dislikes. It really could be anything. And we hadn't recorded that previously, thinking that perhaps our viewers may not be interested. However, you've let us know, and you've said that actually this is something. You are interested in these 12 different individuals, these 12 different alter egos, and you are curious to learn a little bit more about them. So, rather than go through all 3 questions for each one of the characters, the players are going to select one of the 3 questions to answer here tonight. 3 questions tonight are, firstly, what does your character's name represent to them? Or why, as a player, did you choose your character's name? Second question is, how far is your character willing to go to pursue the greater good? Do they believe in a greater good at all? And then lastly, what does your character want to be remembered by? Each player will choose one question per their character or characters that they're playing. And tonight we are kicking off with the fantastic Alex. Alex, take it away.
Kia ora, I'm Alex and I play Keros. Keros is a young North woman. She's a weather mage, which means she does some really cool weather magic from her hands, particularly. And she's getting pretty powerful. She also has a wee companion, a kitten who's probably growing into a cat by this stage. Victory, who's a very valued member of the team. Keros is quite earnest, thoughtful, loyal, but she is becoming increasingly accustomed to violence and wealth as she travels along with the party. So I'm picking the question about what does Keros mean to her or her owner.
Mm-hmm.
So Keros has two meanings. There's ancient Greek and modern Greek. So when she was born, her parents knew straight away that she was going to be a weather mage because it's inherited by the female line. So Keros in modern Greek means weather. So that was appropriate. In ancient Greek, her owner, on the other hand, thought this might be also appropriate. It actually means the right, critical, or opportune moment. So hoping that combining weather with the opportune moment would bring luck and success.
Very cool. Very cool. Personally, it's all Greek to me, but nice one, Keros. Ho, 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 ho. Fantastic. Thanks, Alex. Brilliant. Next, we're going to go to Anthony.
Oh, geez. Yeah, tonight I'm playing again Eskel, or Eskelian for short. He's a tall half-elf warrior mage with a well-groomed beard, and he comes from a port city, and his favourite weapon is his trusty cutlass. The origins of his name, Eskel, actually comes from my daughter's cat. Eskel is actually Tagalog, I think I pronounced correctly, Philippines for stray dog, so she got that wrong. And then the alien bit is actually, I trawled through a few my other RPG systems and found an elf name generator and picked up that last piece on the end. So that's where the full name Ascalion came from.
Marvelous.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Aiden.
Hello, I'm playing Grey. He's a Beastmaster who wields a very mighty axe. And my question I'm going to ask is how far is your character willing to go to pursue the greater good? I don't think he really does believe in a greater good as such. He's not really interested in any kind of religion or any kind of governing bodies or anything like that, but he does believe in like protecting his team and his friends, and I think he would go as far as he needed to protect them.
Excellent, thank you. And he's also got a lot of value from his, as well as just being companionship. Some of his friends have been quite generous with their time, teaching him things like,
They have.
yeah, like books and things, and now he can do things, can't he? He can do things with books.
He can do things. He can even read books.
There you go. Gray is now literate. Gray is now.
He has just become literate.
He has just become
very exciting.
It is. Marvelous. Thank you very much. Let's go to Stara.
Hi. Sarah here. I play Jada. She is a very tall, swarthy-skinned, green-eyed human Arab woman. She's a lay healer, and she's just learned how to hypnotize people, so she's quite keen to hypnotize someone. Never leave home without a healer. Yellow, bye.
Excellent. And her question?
Oh, yeah. The question. Right. She wants to be remembered by... she actually wants to build a hospital one day called Healers Without Borders.
Excellent.
And she wants to be remembered by all the people she's helped and how religious she is and how much she loves horses.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's go to Pete.
Kia ora. I will be playing 3 characters tonight. The first one is Leif. So he is his profession is a warrior mage. So he can fight with his longsword, but also cast some spells. And he is his race is he's a half elf, and he's half Northman from his dad and half high elf from his mum. And he's a very friendly and likable fellow. Question I'm going to answer is about his name. So, in the language of his father, so the Northman language, it means descendant. So, isn't sort of a child. And this is really significant because it wasn't his father who named him. So his background is a bit strange. His father had been widowed or had lost his wife and was traveling to a new city. And one night, just this apparition appeared in his inn. Oh, he was quite drunk, but an apparition appeared in his inn room, and this vision of this amazingly beautiful elven woman, and she had her way with him, and he was a bit of an entranced state, and that was that. And then about 9 months later, she appeared on his doorstep with a baby, gave him the baby, told him his name was Leif, and that that was it. She disappeared from his life. So Leif's mother has always been a bit of a mystery in his life. All he knew that was she came from the blessed Isle of Gaul in the south somewhere. So his name was very special to him because it was from his mother, meaning descendant. So it meant that there was a connection. So his mother didn't just leave him. She intended, she wanted to connect to him. You know, she was important to him, even though she's not been a part of his life. So one of his character goals is to to find out who his mother is and reconnect with her. So it's quite a significant name for him.
Excellent.
The next character I'll be playing tonight is Mithan, who is a very tall North woman. She's a high woman, I believe. Actually, she is not a friendly person. She's quite aggressive. I think I'd say aggressively defensive. So she would rather remove threats to her before they become a threat, in a way. She's a ranger and is very good with a bow and has a small amount of healing and herb knowledge, actually. And she's actually got she holds the hero party's stock of herbs, and there are some very valuable ones, just thinking about that. About her name, so her mother was quite an upper class lady and sort of married down to marry her father, and they named Mithan her name, which in Elbathon, which is the High Man language, means little girl or baby girl. It's the sort of name you'd give to a very graceful, beautiful, charming, very, very sort of pretty sort of daughter who would be the apple of your eye, who'd grow up to be a charmer and just a wonderful, desirous person people would desire. So Mithan's name sort of represents a bit of irony, a bit of regret. Really is a bit of a sore point for her, really, because as soon as it became clear that Mithan was none of those things, her mother washed her hands of her. It was like, not my problem. But basically the whole of her family didn't take to her, unfortunately, which does account for a bit of Mithan's sort of prickly nature. The third character I'm playing is Nicholas. He is a common man. He is a mentat, which means he's a pure magic user of the mentalism realm. So he uses magic that's to do with the mind and things like that. He's a very unassuming sort of fellow and quite academic. And to answer the question, what he'd like to be remembered as is he would like to be remembered as an academic researcher, basically. He'd like to be recognised for the hard work he puts into his research into the effects of trauma on people's minds.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Pete. Lovely. And Graham, please, to finish us off.
Question for Leif. We had the conversation about the Blessed Isle, Leif.
We sure did. Nicholas made sure to make that point that we met someone.
I can't remember if we actually had that conversation now. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I play 4 characters, taken from both parties. First of those is from Twilight Party. That is Severin. He is a swordsman. He is from the north. He is sort of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, stocky chap. Quite fun, quite gregarious to be around, and has devoted his whole life really to his sword, and started off as a sort of lowly soldier. Has aspirations one day of commanding men. He would like to sort of fancy himself going in that direction, but having a retinue. But he's a long way off there at the moment. And then we have Tanya, who is an elf, attractive elf, who is actually a hunter and has some survival skills, but is possibly more adept at firing her bow. She's all about tackling her foes at distance if she can, although she can manage herself close in if required. She's a poor little rich girl from Jebairima. Family fell from grace. She's got long-term plans to see their reputation restored, but has got somewhat distracted by greater purpose of the party's current mission. And then the other party, hero party, Nyathanel, she is an elf as well, very tall, and she is a Imagined, and she is part combines sort of sneaky skills, fighting skills, and some magic in the mentalism realm. She's a pretty shady character and has some pretty alarming religious beliefs. We'll leave it there. And finally, we have Etienne, who is conversely a sort of holy man, a paladin who follows his deity and her wishes. And his deity is Aphrodite, goddess of love. He's a very, very good-looking and charming man, and he puts those skills to good use, entertaining whoever comes along his way. And yeah, he's fully plated warrior and wields a broadsword currently, however, missing a hand, which is somewhat inconvenient. In terms of the questions, what do they want to be remembered by? Severin would like to be remembered. I think he would like to be remembered as a warrior of some repute, quite obviously, and a leader that people respected. He seeks respect. Doesn't often get it, but that's what he wants. Tanya, really, she's all about her family, and so she would want to claim her place in the annals of her illustrious family's history and be respected by future generations as the person who won their position back. Nyathanel does not really want to be remembered at all. In fact, she would go out of her way not to be remembered. It's for her, it was about a very personal relationship with her deity, and that's really her ambitions are wrapped up in that, other than a few people that she would quite like to kill. Etienne, not really in it for personal glory either, but I'm sure among fellow acolytes and fellow followers of Aphrodite, I'm sure he would like to think that he would like to be remembered as a faithful servant of his deity.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Marvellous, one and all. So there we have it. That is the party. Those are our heroes and who's playing them this evening. Well met, and well described all. There we go. Okay, so where we left off last time, a very, very quick summary from me. You guys are here. Quite a lot of purple. So if you remember, you fought your way, found your way, located your way somehow out of the horrendous vaults of the Righteous Wing. And after some discussion, taking the various items that you found down there, including a number of ingots of metal, which some of you have had an attempt to identify, successfully or unsuccessfully, you're not quite sure, and also a number of weapons and other items, but critically, 3 of the precious lodestones that you've been informed by your guide, the novice Astral Traveller Afsoon, could be the salvation for your ability to leave this terrible place, this in-between, this space between worlds, this fifth path, as it's sometimes known. Taking all of those items and making a very tough decision about whether or not to stay where you are and potentially face lurking horrors down below that might be coming up, that you potentially disturbed, that might be coming up to harass you even further. You have made the decision that you would leave the vault, and you have stepped out into the purple swirling fog of the fifth path, of the fifth place, of the in-between. You've taken a few steps, not many, perhaps only 40, 50 foot, and already the vault of the Righteous Wing, this terrible place that you've spent, I was going to say so much time, but frankly, your characters don't know how much time they've spent there, because judging time in this place is very hard to do. But it certainly seems like almost an eternity that you've spent there. And you step out into the swirling purple mist. You've taken a few steps, and you've walked for, you've turned over your shoulder, you've glanced over your shoulder, and can no longer see the vault of the Righteous Ring, and you are now fully encompassed in the purple. We'll come to the longswords, which was some attunement and some use items to try to figure out some of the items that you weren't able to figure out were done in between this session and last session. And we'll come to those in a second. Before we start the game, any questions? Any qualifying questions? Anything check? Anything that's not? Yeah. Sorry, I always say that and then I interrupt myself, or potentially you. So the party is walking. To note, there is Demos, who is floating. Demos is one of your party members who took a pretty grievous injury and has been unconscious now for quite some time. A fly spell was cast on him, along with several boxes and some other things that you're carting, and you're floating Demos along. So guys, any questions? Anything I should know? Anything to check?
Yes. I just wanted to check, we were talking about attunement before. Do multipliers need to be attuned? PowerPoint multipliers.
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think they do. Once you do need to get your head around how to use them. So yes, they do.
Has there been an opportunity since acquiring those items for Nicholas to attune the PowerPoint multiplier he's been taken?
No, not yet.
Cool.
Other questions? Nope.
Did Keros use any PowerPoints I left early last session? She's just still got...
She had 7. Yes, she did. Pete?
Yes, because she had to do an emergency fly spell. We were having to fly over that pit at the end of Demos's slide, and the last 2 people were Leif, Askel, and Keros, and something nasty was coming our way, so Keros cast an emergency fly spell to get herself out of there.
Nice one, thank you.
So yeah, I think it's 7 left. Yeah.
7 left. Yep. Other questions? Nope. Okay. Well, start the game. So you can see the characters there trudging through this utterly bizarre place. You'll recall that when you arrived, however long ago it was, that as well as the swirling mist, when you actually looked down and you touched the ground, in inverted commas, there really was no ground. There was something solid you could put your feet on, but it didn't really have a true shape or a form. Again, very, very odd, very just utterly peculiar place. The state that you're in, by the way, you kind of have glanced around, and you can see in this kind of evil hideous evil, certainly strange. Let's go with strange. Purple glow. You get an opportunity to probably see both yourselves from parts of your body you can see, but certainly your companions looking around you, and my goodness, what a state of you. You're all looking at yourself and your companions, you're all filthy. You're covered in blood, some of it your blood, some of it other people's. Some of you have got spatters from where a giant bug exploded on you. Others have got ripped and torn clothing. All of you are covered in dust and debris from when there was a massive ceiling collapse, and dust just went everywhere. Faces are filthy, your sweat stains. A number of you are sporting injuries. Afsoon, your guides, the young woman that you met soon after arriving in this terrible place, had a wall collapse on her, you may recall, and she is hobbling along, clearly in pain. Not as much pain as she was. It was very kindly Jadar, the healer, was able to provide some assistance to her, but she's clearly in discomfort. Etienne, as already mentioned, is missing a hand, and poor Demos, as already noted, is unconscious. Others have added, probably all of you have added to your collection of scars and other injuries. Fair to say it hasn't been a particularly jolly last wee while, and you're kind of limping along through the fog. I've just
Can I jump in just for a second? Sorry.
Sorry.
Just the Afsoon was floating.
Okay. So the boxes were floating, Demos is floating, and Afsoon's floating. Is that right?
Yes, Leif cast 2 float spells and Greg cast 1 float spell.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the heads up, Pete.
Sure.
Even with the float, she is clearly in discomfort. Even just moving, she is clearly sore. So I've randomly placed your order there. Very happy for you to change that or whatever when we and if we need to. I've assumed that Afsoon is probably at the front, and perhaps with Etienne is close by as well, because Etienne speaks, along with a couple of others, speaks the same language as Afsoon. And you continue through the mist. You've been walking now for some time, and yeah, it's fair to say it is just an odd place, and every now and then there's just strange, weird, unnerving sounds that kind of come out of the fog around you, and then with an almost kind of audible pop, some way off. It's not close to you. It's over here, but it's very, very large. All of a sudden, there's a kind of a bright light for a second, a flash of light, and then a series of images just roll past you. It's some way off. It would be probably 50 foot, and these images are huge. They appear to be almost like that. You recall that screen or that thing that came up that was kind of dripping that black ichor or ichor. They kind of almost look a little bit like that, but the scenes are moving. These are some of what they look like. They should come up on screen. Yes, they do. That's great. So it's the first one you see, and then this. There's no sounds, there's no smell. They just kind of roll through. But you can see, for example, in this image here, there's kind of mist in the background. That mist is actually moving. So that yes, they're images, but they're kind of moving images as well. This terrible place. This image here kind of lingers and trembles in front of you, and to your horror, you see a number of these kind of skeletal creatures that are in boxes begin to kind of writhe, twist, and one of them is getting to its feet, starting come in your direction, and then suddenly changes again. This. And finally this.
It's never a picture of Barbados or somewhere, is it? I mean, you know.
Oh, it had zombie crabs there. That if there was, it would just have zombie crabs, I'm sure.
And then again with this kind of sucking noise, this kind of screen or window just disappears and floats off. And any actions from anybody? Anybody doing anything? Should be aware.
I think we probably would have some sort of order. I've just pasted a suggestion there, but if someone wants to move it around, that's all good. But probably, fighters at the back, fighters at the front. Afsoon towards the front, but maybe protected a little bit from a front row, but bunched together maybe in a phalanx.
Yep. So Nicholas would also offer, and does not need to be taken up on this, but he can, if we feel it's necessary, he could have someone cast float on him, and if someone would tie him to be dragged along, because then he could cast presence out to a 60-foot radius, if we wanted, and that would be as aware of the presence of all sentient thinking beings within that range. So if we wanted a little bit of warning, wouldn't pick up anything that's not a sentient or thinking being. That's an offer he'd make, but he'd need to be floating, because otherwise he only moves at half his. Because he has to concentrate on that spell, he'd only move at half his pace.
Good idea.
Does that sound useful?
Someone want to sacrifice their precious power points?
Yeah, Gray would do it.
Cool.
So it's how much is a float spell? Is it 1 or 2 power points?
Let me just check. I think it's not too much. It is. That's 1.
And it lasts for 10 minutes per level. Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, 1 minute per level. Sorry, 1 minute per
level. Okay, perhaps.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, that's not so useful.
Mm.
How many float spells? Sorry, Askel. How many float spells did Grey cast last time?
I think he did fly, but I think he only did it on himself and one other person, so he's used 6.
More how long the float lasts for?
Float only lasts 1 minute per level.
Okay.
So I think that perhaps Leif would have recast it after he needed to.
Recast what?
So there was a float spell cast on, I think it was Afsoon.
Right. Yep.
And so that would have stopped after 7 minutes. Leif would have then I suppose, because I thought it was the same length duration as Leif's float spell, which is 10 minutes per level.
Okay.
So once that had worn off on Afsoon, Leif would have recast a spell on her, which would give her 70 minutes of floating.
Okay. Cool. Could you give me a roll for that, please?
Yep. Sure.
And sorry, Askel will come to you in just 1 sec.
8, so he would have done prep and he would be touching her.
Spell successful. Askel.
No, I was just going to say that I was looking at Askel's flight. He's out of power points anyway, but his was 10 minutes per level, so just checking that, looking at the right table. That was all.
Cool, thank you.
Cool. I think we're so low on power points, I don't think that it makes sense for anyone to cast float on Nicholas. I don't think we should do that idea.
Is it normal that people have different durations on their spells?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Gray has got spells from Essence Wing. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think Askel and Leif's float spells are on a warrior mage list called High Riding, and so because they're different spells, they're different. Yeah.
Right.
Stuff.
That's it. Absolutely. Okay. Any other actions I should be aware of? Anything else that people do?
Just, Clara, I assume Askel's projected light has gone out. Like that was 60 minutes. Have we passed that elapsed that time?
Yes. Yep. Well and truly. Yep. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just for Askel's side, he's got his magic shield up, and
would that not have gone off too?
There's no duration for that. But
Is there not? Okay. Oh, no, there is. There must be.
oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it's long gone.
Yep.
1 minute. 1 minute a level.
Yep. No. Okay. Anything else I should be aware of? Anything else that people are doing? Graham, take as read unless anybody feels differently that the characters. I'm not going to move the figures around on the screen, but take as read that the characters are in the information that you mentioned.
And then Afsoon is happy navigating without light, right? So there's no need for us to have light.
Well,
We don't want to draw attention to ourselves.
there is this light that you could see around you, and she seems
Yeah.
comfortable on finding her way so far. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, we don't draw attention to ourselves. Yeah. Okay.
You continue on. You've walked for a bit longer, and suddenly there's a pause, and it almost feels as though this terrible place is holding its breath. Yeah. Off in the distance, far away, but maybe not far enough. The actions I should be aware of?
I think remain quiet and rely on Axon to get us out of here.
Can we? Have we got our weapons at the ready? Just to understand how much what we're carrying and how we're carrying it. Like, do we have to dump stuff to be able to whip out our weapons?
You could. Your call, really. I'm assuming that you could put items in packs, etc.
I would say we'd have the ingots in our packs. If we need to, we could drop our packs, but I guess we wouldn't really want to do that because we might have trouble finding them again. You can fight with your pack on, obviously, but you might want to put it out.
Yeah. Askell at least would have his cutlass out.
Okay. Cool.
And Jada.
Alright.
I'll have my quarterstaff out.
Yep. So can I just check for archers? There's no point in having a bow out, really. We can't see any distance to get a shot. Is that fair to say?
You can see kind of that.
Okay, so we probably could see something.
May as well get it. May as well have our weapons at the ready, right?
Oh, all weapons, but I'm just deciding if Mithan wants her bow or her broadsword.
Your call. It depends. The mist swirls around. Sometimes it's 20 foot away. Sometimes it's closer.
Yeah, no, she'll go with broadsword.
Okay. So I've assumed that people have weapons at the ready.
Yep.
A bit further along, strange kind of noise for a bit, and it stops. And not suddenly, this directly in front of the party, there's something white approaching. You all take appropriate kind of action stances, and there's a kind of a deep hiss, and you see this. It clearly has seen you, and it's keeping its distance from you, probably a good, hard to say, 20 or 30 foot out. And it just starts doing a circle around you.
We saw one of these before and it didn't attack.
No,
So
it was scared off by something bigger and scarier, wasn't it, last time?
That's right.
we'll ask. Etienne whispers to Axon if she knows what it is.
She says, I've seen them before. They haven't harmed us. I don't know what it is. I suggest we don't interfere with it.
No, just keep going and don't look threatening, I reckon.
And keep together.
Mm.
And after a while, this thing comes a little bit closer. Definitely not close enough for it to attack, but it comes in a little bit closer, and then it just disappears off into the fog again. And then, after a while, Afsoon, for the second time, Afsoon's float spell finishes, and I'm assuming that's the case for all of the items as well that you're carrying, the 3 boxes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Nicholas can cast float on them. Can cast 3 more spells.
Cool.
Oh, not Nicholas. Faith.
Go for it.
I'll just do 3 D100s. Is that all right?
But before you do, Afsoon says to Etienne, please, just a rest, please. Can I just sit for a minute? Please. Just need to catch my breath. Even though she's not been walking, she's clearly tired.
Okay, well, he'll offer to carry her.
No, just please, a pause. She's imploring. Just a minute, not long.
All right, well, while the spell's being cast, yeah.
And can I just check. I assume we're roping Demos and the chest to someone. I assume that makes sense, rather than having a hand on it in case. What makes sense?
So I'll come to that in a second, Pete.
Yep.
So you. Oops, no, you don't do that. Do this. You set yourselves up in a circle. Afsoon takes she just needs some time just to rest. Nicholas, you think that this is probably as good a time as any, and Keros to investigate. Quickly investigate, about 3 minutes each to investigate the items. You study the various items that you've come across. Afsoon she explains to Etienne that she is tired. Even just the sensation of being floated along is just uncomfortable for her. She's in pain. She doesn't want to make a mistake. She can just sit for a little bit. If she can have some water, the last remaining... Actually, no, you're out of water. She could have just a little bit of food and just pause for a little bit. So, call it a 15-20 minute break, please. And if she can continue after that, she just doesn't want to make a mistake. She's pretty sure she knows where she's going. She obviously doesn't want to make an error. You agree. You sit down and you use that time to attune, or to attempt to attune, both Keros and Nicholas, the various items. And the results for which I've given you. Nicholas, you pick up this longsword, that's a very, very beautiful longsword that that Astral found. There is I won't dig it out and put it in the chat, but it's further up in the chat. Beautiful, beautiful weapon. Taking the sword out of its scabbard, you see that there's this almost glow that's coming off the edge of this weapon. Beautifully made. And you start manipulating it and trying to get your head around what this is and what it does and how it works. And it certainly looks, even a layperson could say that this looks enchanted. And you're desperately, Nicholas, not desperately, you're trying to figure it out, and then, oh god, it just goes horribly wrong. You lose control of what you're doing, and your focus kind of switches, and you trigger something. And I'd like you to roll the dice, please. Let's see what happens. Make it
No.
can you make it a? Yep, a D100, please.
68.
68. Oh, dear.
Oh no! Just watching your face.
Okay. So I have in my head almost like you imagine if someone got a firearm, and imagine this bottle is a firearm, and you squeeze it, you point it this way, and I almost have this image of Nicholas going, I wonder what this does, and just kind of looks down the barrel of the firearm, and right at that moment, he loses control of something. Pete, I'd like you to roll an attack on yourself, please. Point blank.
Oh, that's not a good time to get her. Oh, it's a 36. Okay. Not open-ended. That's a good start.
Oh dear.
Well, hopefully it's not an area of effect spell. Because I just want to take everyone else out.
You did have the chance of hitting somebody else, but you didn't. 36.
Perhaps you will need that float spell after all.
36. What's Nicholas's skill with a sword, if he has any, either a sword or a dagger, please?
Do I want high or low?
Just tell me what your bonus is.
Let's see. His short sword bonus is 56, actually.
6. 56. What's a quarter of 56, Pete? About 12.
Yep. Great.
We'll go with that. I'm gonna say I'm sorry. You don't get your shield on that.
Yeah.
Wham. Pete, take 10 in a B.
What type of B? Can I ask?
Yeah. Just coming. So, what the rest of you see, while Nicholas kind of turns the sword around and kind of looks down the barrel, going, I wonder how this works. There is this gout of not red or orange, but white flame, like pure heat, white flame that just jets out from the point of the sword straight into Nicholas's face.
No! Nicholas.
Can you please roll a B crit on yourself, Pete? And you want to make that low.
Oh, yeah. How's an 89 for low?
So at the very last second, Nicholas kind of sees something or gets a sense that something's bad with the sword. He turns his head to one side, so the blast doesn't hit him in the face, fortunately. However, it does smash into his leg. Ow. And I think he's actually had this before. Any organic leg covering catches fire and starts burning at 6 hits per round.
Man.
You are stunned 3 rounds and you take another 10 hits. Nicholas is on fire, people, and you're stunned.
That was the same thing from that creature.
Yes, it was. All of you have just seen this horrible thing happen, and Nicholas scream with pain. You just took 20 hits there, Pete, and a blast of energy. We're not going to go into rounds. Fair to say, I just in order because she's the fastest. I think Neathanel, you'll probably be the fastest reaction, followed I think by Jadar has the next fastest reaction. What do you do, please, Neathanel? Hello, Neathanel.
Just catching up with myself. She will she'll get a cloak out and try to pat down the flames. I mean, she'll, using her cloak.
Okay. Cloak off. I'm going to say, how couple of rounds, or 2 rounds to a round to get the cloak off and a round to start smothering the flames. Jadar, what are you doing? Jadar next, and then what does anybody else do in the time? Jadar first, and then anybody else after that.
I'm just going to make sure he's not holding that sword still. So if he is, I'll just sort of knock it out of his hands.
Yep.
While he's being helped on the ground there, and just say, maybe if you sort of follow my religion, I might help a little bit. Oh, and put it back in the scabbard, yes.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything while this is happening?
Yeah, Eskel was, I think, not too far behind.
Yep.
Walking pattern, but but if Jado or no one else had tried to put it back in the scabbard, seeing as he found it, he'd probably try and get it back into the scabbard as well.
Sure thing. Yep, it's back in the scabbard. You guys can you still see the map? Yes, you can. Cool. Anybody else doing anything?
Mithan will move up and want to assess any damage to Nicholas, and if she finds that he's not still losing hits, she'd offer to heal him.
Okay, cool. Anybody else other than Mithan? Anybody else doing? Nope. Okay. Could I just ask for just a simple? I'm going to ask, considering that Nicholas is still on fire. Neathanel, can you make an all or nothing light maneuver roll, please, to just basically wrap his leg up and smother the flames?
65.
65, modified by her moving and armor. Actually, she doesn't wear armor, so just her agility.
Her agility bonus is 35.
35, crikey. 100% successful, light maneuver done. At the end of 2 rounds, another 12 very painful hit points later. You've got quite a bit of scar tissue. Probably actually no trousers left, Nicholas, so yet again pants on fire. The fire, courtesy of Neathanel, is out, and you're just kind of smouldering a bit. Mithan has come up to you and asked if you'd like assistance.
Yes, he would. Just checking, what's he got? What has he got? He has got cloak, rope, good clothes, short sword, target, cotton robes. He's got some robes to put on this time.
Okay.
Robes from the Blessed Isle. Especially in front of Jada, he will be most appreciative of Jada's offer, and is happy to hear about her religion whenever she'd like to talk about it. His interest is in trauma on the mind, after all.
Yep.
Which he thinks that's what religion is. Not really. But perhaps Jadar's power points could be best saved for more serious injuries, and he's happy for if that's okay with you, Stara and Jadar. Just because Mithan's only healing is giving back hits, so she may as well use her power points for that. Because you've got
Thank you. I'm feeling a little low on power points, and
yeah. So whereas I think Mithan's probably at full. So yeah, if Mithan will do a level 4 spell, I think, do prep and hands-on, all that sort of thing.
Cool.
Perfect. And I'm just doing a bit of Bible study.
Excellent. Give me a roll, please, Pete. Bible study.
Yeah.
Go for it.
30.
30. Spell successful.
Cool. And that's 3 to 30. That's plus 17.
So he was on 28 after the all burning. He's on 45.
She'd like to do it again.
Roll.
18 for the spell.
Low, but the spell also succeeds.
And plus 12 hits for the healing.
57.
57. That's 3 off his maximum. He's happy with that.
Okay.
Cool. So he'll thank Mithan and say he's feeling much better, and he'll probably give the sword back to, or just say it's a powerful sword to Astral. Just be a bit careful.
Nice. So just one other question. In between this session and last session, Nicholas, you made some attunement rolls. This was one of them. Fair to say, the roll wasn't great. Keros also did some attuning, and she also attuned on this item. Now, the way I wanted to play this was this to happen to Nicholas, and then Keros, would you? So I'm going to take the result as read, Keros. So in other words, I'll keep the roll that you made. It could be a failure, like Nicholas. It could be something else entirely. Do you still want to have made that attunement roll? Because Nicholas's roll happened first. Keros has seen what's happened to Nicholas, so it's up to Keros whether or not she wants to try to attune.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Just don't look down the barrel.
Oh, don't say it like that.
Excellent.
What was that, Pete?
So just don't look down the barrel of the sword. Yeah. And have trusty Nathan standing by with her flame cloak.
Not standing that by, but taking a step or 7 back. Yeah.
So Keros, you very cautiously pick up this sword that's still slightly warm from blasting poor Nicholas, and just while kind of the other healing is going on and Nicholas is kind of regaining his composure, you put your hands on it. Your companions probably step back a little bit, and you put your mind to trying to figure out this thing. You don't quite. Now the good news is you don't set anything off. You don't trigger anything, nor do you fully understand how to use it. But you do figure out what it is and what it can do. You just can't quite use it. If you want to wait another 2 hours, you could try again with a +10 bonus. I can post what it does, either in your private channel or elsewhere. Keros, where do you want me to post that information? Private channel?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking to myself. No, I'm happy for it to be shared.
Okay. So going into the main game chat. Keros,
Yep.
This is what you learn and what you share with your companions.
Smiter of the Unfaithful, +10 of Holy Sword. Uses holy crits. Casts Holy Fire ×3 per day. Holy Fire Bolt, 1/4 uses Sword OB and as the Fire Bolt OB. No need
SEM would like to change what item he'd like, please.
3 +3 spell. Oh, add. How interesting.
Wow, that's a nice sword.
So a spell adder. A few of you have got spell adders, but no one seems to use them very much.
Nicholas uses his all the time.
Okay, with the exception of Nicholas. So spell multipliers multiply your power points. Spell adders allow you once per day to cast a spell that your character would naturally be able to cast themselves, but at the cost of no power points. So you can't overcast with it. It can only be under your level or below. So in this case, this spell adder would allow you to cast for no power points 3 spells that you could cast. So if you're out of power points, a spell adder would allow you to cast those 3.
Awesome. Can I just check?
I'm just happy to be alive.
Is the fire the holy fire ability? Oh no, obviously it's not. Is that the adder is for channeling?
Yes.
The holy fire spell that can be used by any realm user, or it has to be channeling? Nicholas managed to trigger it, and he's mentalism.
Yeah, but he screwed it up. No, that could be if someone attuned to it. They would probably have to be a believer, or potentially have to be a believer. It's certainly a religious symbol. It's certainly a religious. What religion you can't quite say, but you think that's probably a non-believer could.
And do we know anything about its intelligence?
That's what Keros discovered. What do you do, guys?
Is there time for Nicholas to attune the multiplier?
Yes. Yes, there
Like
will be.
can Keros explain to him so he gets a bonus?
Yes, for sure.
Please. Good to go.
Yep.
46.
46 plus 75. Success.
Thank you very much. That's lucky.
Critical success. Yes, we do. We have a. No, we have a skill success. Well done.
That's the light bulb going on. Nice.
Yeah, there we go. This is. Yeah, we'll try it. There we go. Very good. What do you do now, guys?
I mean, is Afsoon ready to roll?
She is feeling better.
Well, I suggest we get on our way. But while that was going on, I think to Pete's point, it would be worth using the rope to kind of attach ourselves to the body, particularly.
Poor Demos.
So he doesn't float off.
Yep.
Just so that we can kind of lead him, like taking the floaty dog for a walk. Likewise, the in fact, we could probably just tie the whole lot up, right? Couldn't we just float Demos and tie them up with the packs and the boxes and the, just so they're all one.
Yep.
And then we'll lead them by the reins.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
If you want some rope work, yeah, or we'll do some rope work.
No, I'm happy just to say tie them. Oops. Gray, I'm just getting I'm just getting a bit of background noise.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe not you. No, it may not have been you.
There's some planes flying overhead.
No, it may not have been you, mate. May not have been you. Cool, thank you. All right.
What's from Leif?
Yeah. No, it's Pete. It's your background.
Yeah, that'll be at him.
Okay. Yep.
I'll just hang on a second. I'll just go and close the door.
Thank you.
Great.
Alrighty, Pete.
Yep. So he'll do. I suppose as well as this, he would, like we said, would be doing the Demos and the chest whilst the attunement was going on. So,
yep.
4 rounds prep and hands-on and stuff.
Go for it.
68.
Go for it. Yep. Just a second. That is successful.
Cool. And the next one. Oh, 82.
Nice.
And I guess this is Afsoon's one.
Mm-hmm.
41.
Done.
So he's now down to 2 power points.
All right.
Done. 70 more minutes of float.
Cool. Thank you, Pete. Nice one. You continue once Afsoon's back on her feet, unless anybody else is doing or saying or doing anything you should be aware of. Oh, okay. On your feet, and yep, you continue on, and you've been walking for some time, and you can kind of almost hear from Afsoon's breath again. She's getting pretty weary. Etienne, you're kind of right next to her. Nothing strange or particularly peculiar comes out of fog, you'll be pleased to hear, but there are some just weird sounds out in this fog. Whatever's out there, you want to know. How on earth Afsoon can find her way. You have no idea, but she does seem pretty confident, and she continues on. And then there's a moment when something changes, something's different, and all of a sudden you put your feet down, and instead of the kind of the nothing that you're stepping on, there's just this crunch of gravel, a familiar crunch of gravel. And you'll recall that when you first came into this terrible place, you found your way to some ruined village, and there were some gravel paths or some kind of road that came in. And this now is looking relatively. And all of you continue along. Any preparations I should be aware of?
Gray might be having a wee sniff. See if
Yeah?
you can smell anything coming.
Yeah, sure. Give me a snort, please, Gray.
Cool. Let me find. Oh, 55?
5, sure. It will be
Yep.
passed. Okay. And what's his bonus, please?
For
Perception.
Perception is 30. 30 something. Perception. 38.
38. Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No. You don't smell anything, Gray. I mean, this whole place is it's bizarre. Like you have smelled certain things, like you can kind of smell yourselves a bit and your companions, but and some of the things down in the Vault of the Righteous Ring you can definitely smell, but here, no, nothing. You continue forward and just begin to make out some trees in front of you. You can see on screen these gnarled, kind of as though they're burnt trees coming up in front. And just as you're beginning to make out the shapes of buildings, the buildings of the ruined village that you'd encountered however long ago, in front of you, you notice that the fog, the mist, is beginning to thin a little. And just as you're kind of buoyed by actually seeing something for a start, you have seen nothing other than the strange either apparitions or the scenes that you've seen fly through the mist. This is the first kind of real thing that you've seen. Just as you're kind of buoyed by this and excited, suddenly you note on the edge of the village 3 figures. 2 massive figures, 1 smaller figure. They look like this. They're about 50. Oh, it'll come up on screen in a second. They're about 50 foot away from where you are. 2 of the large figures have just kind of lumbered out. That's kind of what caught your attention. And they're looking directly at you. As I say, the mist is beginning to thin a little. This is what they look like. So 2 colossal figures. This creature here appears to be the figure of about human-sized person, average-sized man. And these massive, what would they stand? 12 perhaps foot taller, behinds and armed with these absolutely gargantuan, firstly axe and then massive hammer. What is particularly interesting and loathsome about this figure in front of you is, firstly, this staff with a skull on top, which isn't sinister in the least. And then you can just make out, particularly the elves amongst you can notice some kind of head on top of this thing's head. But the most horrible of all, out of this thing's lower torso is this thing here. And you can see it, and it's kind of spitting and moving. It seems to be alive. And it's actually holding up the staff, this person here, kind of frothing at the mouth. And you catch a glimpse of another head up the arms of that cloak. Just to frame things up a little, kind of where you are. So again, put yourselves in any order that you wish. But these two large beings have just lumbered out of the mist to stand slightly behind this figure that's been standing pretty much stock still, about 50 foot in front of you. They've clearly seen you. They're not making any immediate move towards you. They're just simply standing with it and just looking at the stage. GM's going to head to the bathroom. Let's have a chat.
Should we go around? We could try going around.
I think we should consult with Afsoon.
Yes, and then maybe go around.
Yeah.
Because if this is that same village we went through last time, then we should be heading the path that.
Yeah,
we're not far away.
It was straight through, wasn't it? I think. And there were those orcs.
Yeah, but I'm sure we could go around the side. I'm sure that.
So will we bump to that thing that chased us last time? Or there was a couple of them, wasn't it?
Yeah,
there was a few.
Those eldritch horrors. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the time that Kiros did that wall, which sort of blocked it. I think.
Yeah, was it? Oh no, it was a wind. Was it?
So this thing looks like it's a spell user, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Athanol could throw up an air wall, which, well, obviously we could cast back, but spell attacks are at -50. Attempts to move through very hard strength maneuver. But obviously you could go around it, but
I might be ready to do that.
That's something. But because everyone's pretty low on otherwise are pretty low on power points. Is that right? She's also got holding bands, which could immobilize, but then he's got all these funny hands to help, so maybe they wouldn't help at all.
Pass them the sword and say, "Oh, have a look at this end."
All right, GM is back. What do you do? Do you want to make any changes to party order or move yourselves around? I just arbitrarily put Leif there in front, but obviously tell me. How
we unless anybody wants to move, we did have a marching order.
Yep, cool.
Shall we read it out?
I'll just
so
go on.
From left to right, Severin, Grey, Leif in the front line.
Hang on a sec. Just give me a sec.
Sorry, Graham. What was your order? You do it.
No, you go. Happy, you change it around as you like, but
Sorry, I was just reading it and save my microphone off.
Severin,
Grey, Leif.
Okay. Cool. Yep.
Awesome. Etienne. Oh, sorry.
Etienne. Yep.
Etienne, Afsoon, the ethanol.
Etienne. Again by 3x3.
Yes, correct. So yeah. So Afsoon in the middle, directly behind Grey, or Afsoon in the middle.
Okay.
Protecting her, sort of thing.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Go for it.
A row of 4.
Oops.
Kiros, Demos.
Yep. Kiros.
Yes.
Where does she go?
On the. Well, I reckon maybe. Oh yeah. I reckon she could go in the middle.
Where would Keros like to go is a better question.
Yeah, true.
Hello, Keros.
Oh, sorry, I was chasing your naughty rabbits out of my garden. Oh my gosh. I'm happy with that line. Yeah, I don't have many PowerPoints, so I'll go.
Yep.
In that next line. Yep.
Okay.
So-
And next, please, Pete.
I suppose Demos is floating above and slightly to the back of Keros.
Yeah, I'm not going to move his token because it's a bit of a faff to move it, but noted. Yep.
Yeah. And on either side of her, Nicholas and Jada.
Boom. Boom. Yep.
And then we've got Tanya, Askell, and Mithan.
Done. Cool. Oops. All right. Tanya, Askell. This map is just a little bit slow for some reason. No, crap out on me now. There we go. There we go. Okay. Cool. And we all know that Demos is by Keros, and as is Victory. So all of you, I'm happy to just agree that you'd all had weapons prepared. So if you had weapons out, I know that Askell had his cutlass out. If you'd have your weapon out, I'm happy for you to say that you had it out. Does anybody do or say anything that I should be aware of?
Mithan would change to her bow.
Okay.
Etienne would say to Axon, can we go round out of sight?
Yes.
Do you know who these people are?
Never seen them before.
Should we give them a wide berth?
Yes, definitely. I don't like the look of them at all, my dear.
No, so can you lead us round out of sight and still keep your bearings?
Yes, let's do that. Anybody else? So Mithan has changed to her bow. Anybody else doing anything else I should be aware of?
I think Gray would be talking to Ningwing and asking her to kind of fly up a bit higher to see if she can see anything else, like on the horizon. She's got quite good eyes. The Falcon.
Sure thing. What is your ability to communicate with her?
Let me just have a little check.
Just while you're checking that, anybody else doing anything I should be aware of? Nope. Okay.
I think moving would be good.
Yep, got that. Just pause for Grey.
Actually, Nicholas would summon his whistling.
So he casts a whistling.
Yes, if that's all right.
He needs to concentrate when he's. What?
Yeah, no, he might. Yeah, if we're going to about to move, then no point. Yeah, no, he'll wait.
I don't know if they actually, to be honest, I don't actually know if he can kind of communicate that, reading it more deeply, like that level of. I think he's got that level of communication. It's more that it's a friend. They kind of come to each other's aid.
Okay.
He could ask it to if he wanted to talk to it.
What's the description of the spell? Is probably the best way to go.
Yep, it says this spell allows the caster to make a pact with one animal at a time. The pact is one of friendship and mutual aid, and the animal will kill or even sacrifice its own life willingly to fulfill its end of the pact. If either party is ever killed, the surviving member will be at a -30 for 1 week, and then -20 for the next week, 10, and then so forth, until the shock and the grief fade away. The only limitation to the spell is that the target must be of an animal intelligence or less.
Okay. So fair to say, Ningwen would fight to defend Grey. She would help him in any way that she could using an animal intelligence, but
Yeah.
she can't exactly squawk what she can see.
No. He can talk to her if he uses his mastery skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we might just save PowerPoints for that, actually,
Alrighty.
in case people need to fly.
So you pause there, Etienne. You have a conversation in Thebronic. A few of you know a little bit of Thebronic, not a lot of you. So that there's this strange language being discussed. Afsoon says something, and she's kind of shaking her head and looking quite worriedly towards these three figures in front. And you start heading off. Afsoon begins to kind of guide you in off this direction. Whoa, whoops, a daisy. Off in this direction here, just beginning to, and you've barely taken a step each, when all of a sudden this voice, this thin, reedy voice speaks. And the really weird thing is, afterwards, for those of you that survive, if any of you do survive, comparing notes, none of you can actually say what language this voice was speaking. And even more bizarrely, the fact that Afsoon seems to understand as well, because she kind of responds to this thin, strange voice. And it is coming from what you can tell, this figure in front. This figure. You have the honor of being in the presence of His Majesty Quidos, the envoy of the beginning. And the figure looks around, side to side, and then very slowly, not hurriedly, takes out a scroll, and you can see the scroll in this figure's hand here. In fact, he's aided, he, she, it, is aided by this thing, this being, this growth, this whatever it is coming out of its body, actually passes the scroll to the figure. And there's a slight pause as the scroll is unfurled. And the figure continues. Quidos sees that you are not listed one of his vassals. Quidos, the envoy of the beginning, asks you why you are trespassing his kingdom. Quidos, the envoy of the beginning, demands to know your names, beggar travelers. As your lord and master, Quidos, the envoy of the beginning, demands tribute. Trespass. You will pay. What do you do?
Give him the earrings.
No, give him the sword.
No, don't do that.
Give him something. Gold.
And at that phrase, you will pay, these two massive figures just take a step. One, slightly forward. Two, slightly forward. Oops.
Oh, we fall over.
What do you do, please, guys?
Whatever we do, let's all talk in the third person as well.
Well,
I think I usually
Severin's
do.
happy to respond,
Nicholas will prepare.
and Etienne and Yathor would like to prepare.
I'm praying.
Karos will prepare for her
It's
one
preparing.
skill.
Okay. So I've got preparing from a number of characters. Those that have said.
Does Afsoon maybe know anything about Quidos? Has she heard of Quidos?
Vasco?
I don't think he can communicate with her.
So what does you?
Severin will ask.
Yeah.
I mean, or no, Etienne will ask.
She just shakes her head dumbly. What is this thing?
The cat will not be sacrificed. I'm just being very clear. There'll be
Tribute.
sacrificial cat.
Quidos demands tribute.
So, can Severin talk?
Sure.
So Severin's going to filibuster.
Yep.
He's going to use a lot of words when he doesn't need to.
Like to make a roll?
For filibustering. Don't know if that's a skill, is it?
An influence skill, some kind of talking.
Well,
skill?
what I think he'd like to do is he'd like to activate his mask of enhancement.
Okay.
Actually, is there much point? Yeah, why not? He'll put his mask of enhancement on.
Okay. Takes him, as discussed last time, it was in his pack, so it takes him
Well, all right, I won't then. I kind of, I mean, I kind of just think you should just wear it, really. But anyway, it's the whole point. It transforms to the face of the wearer, so it's not visible. All right, he'll just talk, and he'll just say he'll be charming.
Do you want to try a charm roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me.
$81.
81. Pretty good. What's the bonus?
63.
Whoa. What is he saying?
So basically, he's going to say some of the lines of address the guy respectfully by his name and bow his head and say, honoured to make your acquaintance. And he will then go through the party but use their pseudonyms rather than their actual names. And he will give some back history about them, but nothing very useful or even very particularly, just some stuff about the lands that they come from and stuff like that, and how they beg you welcome, and basically take quite a long time introducing all the rest of the party one by one because he wants all our names, and so he does that. A bit of potted history, and he says, hadn't realised we are just passing through, and didn't realise we'd stumbled upon your realm. In fact, we're not entirely clear where we are. But we're just passing through, and mean no harm, and just want to go about our business. But he'll dress that up in very respectful terms, without any show of aggression.
Excellent. Okay. Well, several things. Firstly, Severin takes his sweet time to do that. And that's a good 40 seconds. So that's a good 4 rounds of preparation. So people are now fully prepared. 4 rounds have gone. That's the first thing. Secondly, all of you have heard Severin speak many times before, but he is particularly eloquent and charming. And his tongue is quicksilver on this occasion. And the figure in front of you, can't quite see at 50 foot, but the exact expression, but nods appreciatively when Severin flatters him, and nods somewhat as each one of you are introduced. There's a pause once Severin stops speaking, and then this voice again. Quidos, the envoy of the beginning, Sue Severin, and Severin's pseudonym, and welcomes him to Quidos's kingdom. You are welcome to become one of his vassal lords and to swear allegiance, as is appropriate. You have spoken finally to Quidos the Magnificent, and for that, thanks you for showing deference. Tribute is still demanded, but a lesser amount because of your fair words and your kindly demeanor. This is Quidos, the envoy of the beginning's word, and his word.
Well, he'll continue along his way, and he'll say, and dress things up with the same respectful tone, and say inquire as to and apologise for not being up to speed with the customs of the local customs. But he is a traveller from far away and crude of tongue and ignorant in the sight of such a fine man. But he's unaware of the customs and therefore inquires as to what tribute, what he means by tribute, begging his forgiveness, but he doesn't really quite understand the custom.
There's kind of a hiss and an intake of breath, and you're unsure, all of you, particularly in the front rank, whether or not it's the tall figure or whether or not it's the thing that's kind of part out of the person's torso that actually makes the hissing noise. Any action from anybody else? Anybody doing anything? Saying anything?
Sorry, Mythan will prepare as well.
Okay. The voice comes again. Tribute? You ask Quidos the Magnificent what tribute? Best tribute. Souls. Agents. And you provide?
The second best.
Does Grey ask that?
No, it definitely doesn't.
And so again, he's just playing.
Sorry, just a quick point. Grey, you understand this man perfectly. So, because of your while you have learnt that strange kind of those strange tricky marks on a page that actually like people call writing, you now have some understanding of what that means. But whereas before you've always felt like the idiot, Grey's actually not stupid at all. He's quite an intelligent person, but he's always been limited by the fact his South tongue, which is the common language which you're all speaking, he doesn't speak it well. Grey, you understand this man perfectly, like, and you are
feeling pretty good about that.
And you are equally as eloquent to respond.
Oof.
You don't have to respond, but you suddenly are aware that actually this person, don't know how, but you're suddenly aware this person would understand you.
He'd probably be thinking about he'd be thinking at the moment, even though he understands, he's not used to having conversations and being verbose, so he's probably thinking about what the man has said.
Okay.
And what that could mean.
Curious, do cats have souls?
No, cats do not have souls. Victory is not a player in this game whatsoever.
I thought so.
I believe that as us as unbelievers, we probably don't have souls either. So maybe Jadar's the only one who's got a soul. Would that be
Perhaps?
Have a demonic soul they can have if they can rip it out of my cloak thing. I mean, it's in my cloak.
In the clasp, yeah.
Maybe he'd be interested in that. It's like quite
That's
a
not a
powerful
stupid
soul.
idea.
Let's try it, eh? If you can get that out, it's yours.
Yeah, that'd be excellent, actually. How can we do that?
And if I die, what a way to go.
That would be great, though, if you could get the clip off. Just say, Yeah, that'll be
Soul
excellent.
trapped in this
Undress me.
necklace.
Oh no, I can't say those words. You guys will have to do it.
You've got clothes on underneath your cloak, surely. And I reckon it's a pretty powerful demon in there, so probably very valuable in the soul, on the soul stock exchange.
Who does what next or says what next?
I think Severin will inquire, just saying, sorry, you require our souls for what purpose? If I may.
That is best tribute.
Now, the only trouble is, without souls, as far as I understand, and again, apologies, I'm new to this, we would sort of cease to function as beings.
Join us.
I see. Right, I got you. Well, I wonder if we're just maybe open to a bit of negotiation.
You have other tribute? Widos
Well,
the Magnificence wishes to know.
Well, are you okay if I barter an ingot?
Go for it. As many as you want, really.
I just say, I mean, does material wealth appeal to you?
Widos, the envoy of the beginning, likes the shiny.
Or should we just kick the shit out of this guy? What do you think?
We don't have any PowerPoints.
No. All right. What shall I give him then, chaps?
Earrings.
Not the earrings.
No,
An ingot. Shall I give him one of the gold?
Give it.
Or not?
I don't go to the top tier.
All right.
We need some wiggle room. Yeah.
What's the shiniest? Is the other stuff
maybe
equally
midway
shiny?
silver.
How shiny is the copper? Not the silver. The silver's mirth more than the gold.
Yeah, the copper's reasonably shiny. Yep.
Severin said, "Well, we have acquired this," and he puts his hand up, just very slowly, and goes into his pack, being very non-aggressive and showing his hand, and then he pulls out the copper ingot.
There's another hiss.
We have recently acquired this. Would this give us passage, dear great lord?
Widos, the envoy of the beginning, demands more shiny.
Well, that's quite a lot of shiny.
Stage, this thing here takes a lumbering step forward, as does his companion.
Sounds like they want the shiny sword.
I think it's going to be a fight, people.
Give him one of each and say that's all we've got.
Nah, this. I don't think he'll. He's not a man to be trusted. I don't think we can do a deal with this kind of guy. He wants souls. Well, I can offer him one more. That's it. What do you think?
We offer him the necklace?
I don't think we want to give away any of the items, right?
The necklace, the demon cloak.
Well, we can't take that off, can we? Well, all right. We could offer that. Okay. If so, Severin says, well, there is one thing we do possess that is of greater value and more power than our combined wealth here. This ingot. It is a thing of immense power, and it is contained within my colleague, and he gives the pseudonym, and it is contained within her cloak, and it is extremely powerful, and I'm sure more powerful than the sum of us for certain. And if you are looking for souls, I could not offer you more.
Another hiss from it.
Is that of interest, dear lord?
The the shiny and this artifact you speak? Yes.
Very well. It's yes. I do not know how you extract, but it is contained within her cloak. But it is contained within her cloak, not her person.
Quidos, the
Eddie-
invoice at the beginning, wishes to see this item.
Jade, are you happy to go through with this?
Hi, I'm Jada, the fundamentalist, and wanter of horses and collector of prayer mats. Yeah. Shall I just walk forward and see if they'll take it off?
Well, yeah, but
Because I can't.
what you
take it off.
don't want to happen is him to take your actual soul.
Should we do an ambush where I walk up and as we're doing it, you guys attack?
Or we just attack.
Would we ask them to come by south and maybe
Yes.
meet Jada
Okay,
and one
yeah.
other or something in the middle? Does
Yes.
Heavy's staying behind?
I'll just get down on my knee and sort of offer the cloak.
Where do
Well, I
you
wouldn't
go?
go.
Where do you go, Jada? If you go
Just
with
a little bit forward, just sort of inviting him to take it off. So he's just a little bit forward, so he won't feel too threatened.
it? Where
That sort of submissive. Just drop me down there somewhere, and just do a submissive thing of here you go, it's all yours. Remove it. Contains a powerful soul.
you can't remove it, of course.
No, I'm just offering it in a submissive way. Here you go. It's a very powerful tool. I can't even touch it, but you're welcome to take it.
Quidos, the envoy of the beginning, asks you to bring it forth. Uses Jada's pseudonym. And the shiny.
Okay. So I stand up again.
Do we want to risk this because he could actually just take your actual soul?
Isn't he just going to take the cloak?
Well, I mean, do we believe him?
Not 100%.
I wonder if you could. Oh. Well, you should take the ingot, and I wonder if you can sort of go halfway and see if he can feel it. So you can indicate it and see if he can sense the demon in it. I don't know.
Chris.
Right. What happens when the demon comes out? Anyway, will it get him, or is it only going to get us?
We're hoping.
He's
Chris,
trying to-
Yes.
Question. Nyadra has a spell where she's able to teleport items. I'm just wondering whether she would be able to teleport the cloak, because would she actually have to? I'm not sure whether they have to open it or not. Hang on, leave item.
Let's
Teleports an inanimate object to a point 100 feet away. This can be no intervening barriers. No. Okay. No.
I'm going to try and hypnotize him.
Sure.
I don't think that'll go well.
You can try anything.
Well, if he gets angry, we're just going to try and kill him anyway. Okay, so
Jada, I reckon he'll go for your soul.
he's going to take my soul.
So I would suggest that we attack. What do the rest of you think? Or we give him another shiny.
Give him another shiny.
You could try with the diplomatic shiny first, and then kind of see what he says, and then if not, then I think we have to go for him.
All right. Okay, Severin will get another shiny out. Same one as. Go on.
I think you should. I think Jada should explain she can't remove the cloak.
I'll just say
the power of the demon.
Okay, I can't take it off. The soul in here is so powerful, and just start walking back to you guys. And then who wants to go forward with the gold? Or do we put it down and walk away? And if they attack, we attack.
So, Jada, you've offered something to him, then turned around and you've come back. Severin?
Yeah, told him I couldn't take it off.
So, what does Severin do, please? There's a hiss as Jada walks back, by the way. And again, these two lumbering things. This one moves out to about here. This one moves out to about here. Severin? Hello?
Puts them down on the ground and then suggests that the party shuffle back and allow him to, And Severin says, "Here is as our tribute to you, great lord. We simply wish to pass by without causing any affront or inconvenience to your day."
Quidos, the envoy at the beginning, wishes to know why the immense treasure that was offered retracted.
There's a slight problem with it, the item cannot be removed.
By us.
Quidos, the envoy at the beginning, wishes to know why you would be so foolish to offer it in the first place.
We're not all as well equipped and as blessed with such intelligence and wisdom as my lord.
Can you give me another? You gave a very, very good roll before, an 81. Can you give me a follow-up roll? It will be modified by the fact that you made a really good roll the first time around.
10.
10.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's not too bad. Plus, whatever it was.
It wasn't a failure, and that was really what I was seeking. Plus 63. Plus,
yeah.
Okay. So you guys are a little bit concerned because Severin kind of trips over, his tongue kind of trips over itself. It's not nearly as smarmy or arrogant or charming as he was before, but you don't, you manage to get the words out that you're attempting to. And the figure in front of you nods once. Bring the shiny forwards to Quidos, the Magnificent's feet, and you may go.
Stick it on the cat, right? I mean,
Oof. How far forward do we need to go?
Well, I'm not going near him. If it
could Niefnal teleport the gold to
him?
Since no one's wearing it.
I really want to use the spell because I might need it. Might be more urgent.
What if we put it down on the ground and all back off very submissively, bowing down?
Yeah, well, I think encourages the rest to bow, and will continue to back off, leaving the gold back on the earth, saying, "You are most gracious, my lord. We give you our tribute, and we lay it down before you, and continue to back off."
Nicholas can teleport it there. He's got PowerPoints. If it's not acceptable, he'll just murmur that he can teleport it.
Go for it.
He thinks that Severin should preface it, should say that we're going to use a spell to transfer it to him.
Rather than sully our sweaty, dirty selves in your divine presence, Lord, for we have not bathed in weeks, and quite frankly, we are not fit to grace your presence, nay, dine on your table or any such privileges. I suggest that we teleport this object to your feet and not defile your presence with ours.
Excellent. Can you please roll? Don't roll a failure. No pressure.
$14.
14. There's another hiss of breath from in front of you, and you hear this thin, reedy voice again, and says, "His Majesty put us the envoy at the beginning. Appreciates your consideration and your appropriate deference for the pitiful state odor that you would put us the envoy at the beginning. Will grant you this beyond your
Woohoo!
Severin
Well done.
would like to. Severin bows very, very deeply, and says a lot of very respectful things, and continues to bow as we move backwards.
I'd like each person in the party, please, to also bow and scrape and grovel appropriately, assuming you want to do that. You don't have to. And I'm seeking here no failures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by this row. No failures of 1, 2, 3, 4 by this row. No failures of 1, 2, 3 by this row. And then no failures by 1, 2 by the back row. Let's try one by one. So Severin, you've already rolled. Gray, no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, please. Basically, no disrespect can be caused now.
Out of 100?
Out of 100, as always.
58.
Good. Safe.
36.
You're good. Etienne. 1, 2, 3, 4.
7.
You're close, but you're good. Do I have a taker to roll for Afsoon? Actually, the GM will roll for Afsoon. Good. 42. Afsoon's good. Neathanel.
53.
3. Nicholas. Keros and Jadar, you can't roll a 1, 2, 3.
I got a 9 for Nicholas.
Oh, but it's okay.
Yes.
11 for Keros.
Thank you. And then finally the back row, Mithan, Askell, and Tanya. A 1 or a 2. Bad.
Nathan's okay. She got a 17.
Oh. Tanya outdid herself with a 99.
Nice.
That's really good.
That's a bit very deep.
You're not quite sure what was going on there, but whatever was happening didn't really sit comfortably with you, and you're quite pleased to be out of the situation, and very thankful for Severin's silver tongue and ability to charm when it takes them. You skirt round. The GM had no idea, by the way, what was going to happen there, so that's always interesting. You skirt round. You can just make out the side of the village. These derelict. I'm going to show you the village because I've spent some time doing that. Oh, for some reason there's a massive nickel right there. I don't quite know how, but it shouldn't be. Don't know. Is this map, by the way, ringing any bells? Remember this when you came through?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. The master's body is just up by that well to the right.
Dead
Right.
bloke.
So you continue on, and after giving the a very, very, very wide berth of village, you continue on past some scarred and be burnt out dead trees past this cluster of rocks that you'd seen previously, till finally, a bit further on, come up to again something else that's familiar. You can see it there, just there perhaps, screen, some light. You'll recall that when you came past this way quite some time ago, well, it feels like quite some time ago, one of the things that drew you on was this looming hill, and you can just make out, you can't quite see on the screen, but there was this looming hill behind you, well, sorry, in front of you, I should say, and in front of it were several torches, very high stakes driven into the ground and on fire, on flame. And yes, just make that out. First of them out there. Coming closer, you see another of these torches into the ground, and the openings in the cliff face. The same entrance that you came in before into the tunnels towards Afsoon's refuge. You cross a small creek. Strange to hear kind of quite a mundane sound of water trickling down past that pile of rocks, and you move through into the beginning of where Afsoon's refuge was, and find yourselves here. Any preparations I should be aware of? Saying anything? Should know.
What did we leave here before? We left the big tower of fire, didn't we? Was there anything else? What, there two other creatures running around?
There were some eldritch horrors, yeah, but I think they'd left by the time we decided to go.
Etienne Starkson, what should be, which should we be concerned here? By what path should we go?
Well, the last time that we were here at my master's, again, she looks thoroughly downcast at this. Safe place, our haven here. We're here with me. There was a massive, towering, deep fire, I remember rightly. Last I've been.
I remember that. But how long do they last? Generally, towers of fire.
I have no idea. This was the first I have seen.
Okay. Radio. Maybe the scenic route then.
Whistling Scout, maybe?
Yes. Good idea.
Unless you want to do an in-person scout with someone.
No, that's fine.
I think we'll be all right.
Whistling's a good idea. Small target.
Okay, Nicholas will do his thing. There was, so we can prepare and all of that.
Okay.
An 8.
An 8. So the spell, just to check, is anybody else saying anything from Keros, anything from Askell? I'm conscious, quiet game for you guys so far. I just want to make sure you've got a chance to have your voice heard. Anything your characters are doing or saying?
Yeah, I was going to
Just
say.
holding my cat. Sorry, Askell.
Askell might suggest that some static manoeuvres there, GM, since we flashed past 8 p.m.
Oh, yes, we did. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We did flash past 8 p.m. I'm going to do this super duper fast, as I say each time. So, for our audience's benefit,
unless there's a more suitable pause point coming up.
No, let's good call. Let's do it here. So, just very quickly for our viewers, for those that don't know, once a session we take a pause for 4 minutes. So, guys, please start timing me right now, and we touch into how a particular rule or how a particular mechanic works in Master. Rolemaster is an old game, comparatively old game, dates back to the 1980s. And it's a game that's certainly is not as widely played now as it used to be, and certainly not in comparison to something like Dungeons and Dragons or other popular role-playing games. So, very quickly, each week we put up a poll, And we ask our viewers to vote on which mechanic they'd like to have a look at. And this week, static maneuvers was chosen. Last week we talked, I think it was last week or the week before, we talked about moving maneuvers. Excuse me. This time around, it's going to be maneuvers when you're not moving. So in other words, static maneuvers. And this one is pretty basic as well. You'll see up on screen a table. Rolemaster likes tables. And this is the one that we use. Very simply, you'll have here negative 26 or down, all the way up to 176 or above. And the negative 26 or down, you can see a blunder, or an absolute success, or a success, or a near success, a partial success, a failure, an absolute failure. And across the top, anything general, so like just any general roll, influence and interaction. So for example, we just all heard Severin make an influence type roll using his charm. Now Severin ended up rolling something up above 176, so he got an ultimate success. Not only did you influence your audience, but you received a plus 50 bonus on influencing them until you do something to lose confidence in you. So, in other words, a phenomenal success. All the way down to your blatant attempt at coercion alienates your audience. They are influenced to do the opposite of what you're attempting to get them to do. Until a change in circumstances occurs, any attempts by you to influence them will fail. It's just picking up a bit of background. Just pop yourself on mute. Thank you, guys. Thank you. There, along the top, you'll see there, picking locks and disarming traps, reading runes and using items. Using items is another phrase for attunement. We've been using attunement in this game, but using items is the same. So again, Nicholas, who pointed the sword at his face, happened to end up rolling this result. Whatever spell... No, actually, no, he didn't. He got an absolute failure. You have developed a mental block on this rune or item and will automatically fail on further attempts to use it. If attempting to read a rune or attempting to use an item containing a spell, there is a 50% chance the spell will be activated. Pete, you may recall in between this session and last session, you made some rolls, then I asked you to roll again, and you rolled a 22, which is under 50%, which meant that spell would be activated, which meant you got a face full of sword blast. So very simply, we find whatever activity that you're doing, and there are some other specialist tables for other specialist static maneuvers. You add on your skill, so for example, your attunement skill if you're Keros or Nicholas, your charm skill if you're Severin, your picking locks skill, your perception skill, and perception is used a lot in this game. And then you roll the dice, add on your bonus, and there are certain modifications, and you can see some down here. If it's a really easy task, and there are some easier modifications as well, you can actually get a plus 50 depending on how easy it is. Down to absurd and even harder, you'll get a negative or a minus. You'll see those other modifications that are there as well. Or, for example, using an item, if you don't know what the spell is, you get a negative 20. It should be. It's not there. Negative 10. It should actually be negative 20. And some other modifications, and I'll just quickly show you some of the other things that can influence. But that's
that's 4 minutes.
Thank you. So essentially, that's it. Whenever you're doing an action that isn't a moving maneuver, isn't an attack, isn't casting a spell, there's a fair chance it's a static action, and we'd use this table here to figure it out. So your skill plus a roll plus some modifications, and then I, as the GM, interpret the results. Very quickly, some of the other static modifications that you can get. So the difficulty again, for things like lighting, obviously, it's a lot easier to pick a lock when there's no shadows, as opposed to trying to pick a lock at negative 20 when it's pitch black. Ditto for hiding traps, but the reverse, of course, when you're hiding. It's obviously easier to hide dark versus no shadows, and so on. The same for perception and maneuvers. Other things as well, the quality of the hiding place, whether whether the disarmer or the picker has disarmed this type of lock or trap before, etc. Bonuses for perception. There is a bonus to a plus 30 bonus if you specifically mention the thing that you're looking for. I walk into the room and I am specifically looking for blood in the corner of the room. Make a very specific thing known to the GM, and if that thing is there, you get a plus 30 bonus to that activity. To that roll. And then also other things such as if you're encumbered or if you're injured or other things all affected. But yes, as with most things in Rolemaster, you roll a d100, add on your skill, and then add the model. There we go. Static maneuvers done. Back to sorry.
So just quickly, Jim. And where are the tables found? Which?
Yep. Yeah. So trusty Rolemaster Classic, and I always put. Is this for yourself, Anthony, or for our viewers? Both. So I always put a note in the description of each video. There'll be a note for our viewers, so thanks for the heads up. There's a page number for our viewers to have a look at. Top of my head, can't remember the page number off here, but maybe I can find it.
139.
Thank you, Pete. There you go. And that's in Rolemaster Classic, and that's in Character Law, so you can get it out of this book. Excellent. Any questions? Does that, by the way, for those that have been doing perception rolls and attunement rolls, does that make a little bit more sense now, perhaps, for those that may not have seen the table? So, just to have it in your head again, the kind of roll for a success. Typically, 111 is successful, 176 is absolute success, and if you're negative 26 or negative below 25, you're in trouble. Don't forget, though, there may be other modifiers that you're... Okay, back to the game. What's going on?
I think Nicholas summoned his Whispling.
Okay, he did.
And is very happy just to take direction from Afsoon or any of the party members about where they want it to go. He will narrate the whole time.
Okay. You will need a light on it. It is black down the stairs.
Okay. Right, who's got a light spell? or is it better just to have a human go?
I reckon it's probably better to have the Whispling go if we can.
Okay.
Just before we go, please, can I ask one very brave person, please, to give me a roll let's find out some stuff of what's going to happen next. Any one person, go for it.
54.
What was the result?
54.
5-4.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. How about that? How about that, Gray? How about that? You feel lucky? Do you feel lucky? Excellent. Actually, GM, with that roll, GM is just going to take the map off for 1 second. Please talk amongst yourselves for two ticks. There we go. Oops, no, we're going to do... No, we're going to... No, we're going to... There we go. We're going to do that one, and the GM's just going to do a little bit of... in the trade, it's called GM Jiggery Pokery, and I shall be back with you in 2 seconds. Thank you, Gray. That was a very interesting roll, shall we say.
Oh, good.
Great.
Interesting is good.
Oh, great. Leif doesn't have enough power points to cast a light spell, apart from projected light, which I don't think will work because it's a beam and from the caster's palm, so it can't happen. Does anyone else want to cast? Has anyone got the power points or want to cast a light spell on the Whispling? That suits.
No,
Well, I have 7. Do you want me to use?
A light spell 3, is that right?
What have I got? I think I've got projected light and...
You got light law?
Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, no, I do have light law.
So on that one, the light 1 spell, which is the one I think we've had before, which is a 10-foot radius light, is
Oh, yeah, 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got 7. I'm happy to do it, or I hold on.
So that's 1 light spell and 2 shock bolts. I don't know.
Yes.
Anyone can.
Sorry, I don't have the means.
Nicholas doesn't.
I don't mind doing it. I just don't know if I need like full attack.
Yeah.
No, we need to do it, right? Oh, no, Karis can do it. Someone will just have to be her hero if we come to combat.
If you're okay with that, thank you.
Yeah.
Brave, Keros. Brave.
Hard to leave yourself vulnerable.
Don't say it like that. Oh my goodness.
Are you
Okay.
feeling nervous, Keros?
I remember Carrios.
55.
55. Now see, that should be a success. Second, please. GM has nearly finished his jiggery pokery.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yep.
right. That's right. Here we go. And there is now a whispling. Very quickly for viewers that may not have come across the spell, this is a small ball of energy. I believe it's gravity, Pete, that Nicholas summons. It's I'm increasingly thinking the most overpowered spell in the game, and I absolutely commend Pete for his choice of spell list. The spell allows this little ball of energy to several things. Basically act as a scout. It can move 100 foot, so not a massive distance actually, but 100 foot when Nicholas concentrates. And Nicholas can see through, I believe the term is its senses, so hearing all of his normal ability to sense things, and it can also attack as well, modest attacks, but also an attack. It's quite a small object, so it can get through small spaces as well. There is now a whispling ready to go at your disposal. It's Nicholas, and GM has now finished with his jiggery pokery, and we're now back. What do you do?
Awesome. Yes, just happy to take Afsoon's direction about which is the best way to go. But, well, of course, the thing is, if there's anything nasty in there, this whispering's now got a light on it, so it's going to alert anything. So we better be ready. So perhaps a formation of fighters at the front, and I suppose we just creep along at the pace with the whispering 100 foot in front of us, basically.
Okay, cool. All right.
How many abreast in the passage?
Oh, how many abreast? Good point. Good point. It's only one.
Oh.
So there we go.
Do you want a marching order then?
Yep, before I do, can I ask, so we had one very brave person who just rolled. Can I ask for one other very brave person, please?
I think we should just stick with Aiden, then we can blame him if all goes wrong.
It's a great tactic.
I think so.
Give me a roll. Have a roll.
Oh, he's not doing it. All right, I'll do it. Sod it. It could be my fault. 47.
7, okay.
It wasn't 50.
It wasn't 50, yes, good point. Okay. And then absolutes, for the moment anyway, lucky last, third roll. Who's feeling lucky tonight?
I'm out of luck now. Come on.
I can do
That's
it. I
Okay.
can do it.
Get Victory to do it.
8.
8. How about that?
That sounds lucky.
Lucky number 8.
What's that in bingo?
Legs 11, lucky number 8.
Good fate.
There we go.
Good
Okay,
fate.
cool.
Ooh, sounds
Okay.
ominous.
So what is marching order, please?
Well, great at the front. I guess sneaky at the front, maybe. Oh, no, not much point. All right, Severin will go first.
Gray can go first.
Well, Afsoon needs to go quite near the front, doesn't she? Well, how about you and Gray and Severin at the front then? And then, what does Axel need to go to the front? She doesn't, does she?
She can just say left, right.
He can just direct Nicholas, so they can go very much in the middle.
Further down. All right, who's next?
Safely in the middle, please.
So Severin, Gray, another fighter. Thanks, Axel. Are you right with going next?
Severin,
Did you
Gray,
say Axel or Askel?
Axel Rose. Askel Rose.
Askel Rose. Sweet.
I'll stick Etienne in. Next, Method.
Sure.
Actually, should keep a few for the back, shouldn't we? All right, we'll put in.
Nothing ever attacks you from behind, surely.
Then we'll stick Nicholas and Afsoon in.
And
Bit J, bit of-
Kiros will go safely in the middle.
Yeah. Curious. No one attacks in the middle.
Jada would probably be good to have in the middle as well. Protect the healer.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm working it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Who am I missing? Oh, knife.
Ready to go?
Sorry, just working on it. Just putting a couple of fighters at the back. Right, does anyone vehemently disagree with that?
Nope.
Looks good.
Duly noted. And you set off. So you wind your way along tunnels, cautiously as you can, and turning the corner, again, turning another corner. And the first thing you notice is coming into this area here. And Gray, you've got very, very good nostrils on you. But you're probably the first to smell it. But everybody else also very soon catches a whiff. Smoke, quite a lot of smoke. Any actions? Anything you're doing?
Would we send? How far can we send the wee whispering? Can he maybe go a little bit further ahead?
Yeah, go 100 foot.
Can it avoid the smoke?
Yep.
I mean, hopefully that's the remnants of what something was burning rather than the actual thing.
Yeah.
Any light?
So, how far in front are you putting the whistling, Pete?
I think the intention was to put 100 foot in front so that we were following 100 foot behind. So we've got warning, I guess, unless there's any objection to that.
That sounds like a plan.
Oops. So weaving in between here. Yep, you come through, and this is all looking vaguely familiar to you. It seems to be seems like quite a while since you were here. And then you begin to see through the Wispling's eyes, Nicholas, light, flame from in here. And the sound of flames.
From his memory, was that the direction of Afsoon's stronghold through that sort of passageway?
Give me a memory roll.
Can't Axon direct you?
She
Sure,
can't.
he'd be-
She can't see what Nicholas can see.
Yeah, so Nicholas would be trying to describe, but so he rolled a 39.
Yep.
Plus a memory of 24.
39.
39. Yep.
Okay. He's not sure. You think it is in this direction? Yes.
Just because he's wanting to, if that's the way we're going, he wants to come back and get the light spell from the. No, he keep going for a bit more, I reckon.
Okay.
Just because could get the light spell cancelled, and then it'll
That's
be
true.
stealthy.
So there is definitely some kind of light coming through here. Flame, you think?
Cool. Yep. He's going to bring the Whispling back, or ask Keros to cancel the light spell.
Probably needs to see it, I think, to cancel it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So I suppose we'll move up until where. How do we explain this? Where our party can start to see the light, so that when the light spell is cancelled, Nicholas can still see to navigate the Whispling back. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, okay. All right. Duly done.
If we're comfortable with that, and if it's keeping a watch, so we're not surprised, so we'll try to go in different areas.
Yep.
And as Axon says that's the way, or?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, cancel the light spell, and then it can sneak on ahead without being detected, hopefully.
Yep. It's a bit of an issue getting through tight doorways. Utter chaos in here. So there was several walls for Afsoon's refuge, call it what you will, and you vaguely remember, Nicholas, that there was a wall along here and along here, and it's just gone. It's just completely and utterly gone. There are still some flames that you can obviously see that are burning. Probably not quite as intense as that now. Probably I'm being a little bit dramatic with the sound effects. That's probably more what they're like. They're kind of crackling, and they definitely have gone down. But the whistling can pick up. Clearly, there was a lot of heat here. And something has just completely flattened a number of the walls. You can see. You can just make out with the reasonable amount of light here a few of Afsoon's possessions. There's the remains of some barrels and table and chairs lying scattered around. But most interestingly of all, that captures your attention is, and you may recall. When you were in her refuge, when you first met her, a few objects. I'll show you a couple of them. At least one that's stuck in your mind. This. And it was the one that had the single and last arcane lodestone on it. Just make out a glowing red rock, which you're assuming is the remaining arcane lodestone. Oops. And it's here. And clearly
flux capacitor.
And clearly there's something going on there. Of anything living or moving, can't see anything.
Right, should we pile in?
Pile in. Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep, I think if we all make our way in. And what's the way? Is the way blocked by the flames?
No, you can. Hang on, just.
Where's the cat?
Yeah.
There is
Put
no
the flames out with the cat.
Yeah, there is no sign of the cat, I'm afraid. So the way isn't blocked. You can make your way over kind of some rubble here, and some more debris and detritus and stuff around here. And all of the characters, I'll just zoom back a little bit. avoiding the flames and keeping away from a number of hot objects. So let's actually not put Afsoon and Etienne and the Athanol actually in the flames. Yeah, you come into the scene of just utter debris and ruin. Absolutely amazingly, you're absolutely not quite sure how or why, but it might have had something to do with the 8 that Keros rolled. All of your possessions that you left in here, your bedrolls, your anything else that your characters left, piled in that corner. And apart from a couple of the bedrolls being slightly singed, all are intact and able to be used.
Thanks, Kiros.
Nice work.
Yeah, Beta goes too.
So you all, yeah, I mean, you've come into what was, quite a if you remember, there were quite a few parchments up on the walls. There were various maps. There were all kinds of strange arcane signs and other things. They are gone, well and truly burnt away.
Do we blame Gray for that?
I'm not going to say. Not going to say.
And the walls. Look what you done, Gray.
Oh, every time.
What do you do?
I'll do better.
Well, should we post post some sort of sentries on the ways into this area while Axon does her thing?
Yeah.
Well, we need to find out from her what. Well, so the question would be, do we? So this is where we'll hopefully have her casting a spell that will send us back to our places, and we've perhaps made a decision where we want to go, and when we split. But does that happen now? Is the question to her, or just in time to prep? How much?
Yeah, I mean, Etienne will say, "Is your equipment has survived?"
She's looking around and she's looking pretty frantic, and she says, "I've." So this is all through Etienne's translation. She says, as I've explained to you, I need to open a gate. And she points and she says, that is the gate. It requires a minimum of 3 lodestones. And I can, with ease, with relative ease, even considering my relative novice level, signal the gate to open and to start, and with relative ease take myself and you back to my own time and your own time, or relative time and exact place from where you started. When I say exact time, sometimes there can be a difference of a few minutes. Sometimes there can be a difference of a few days, always in the future from when departed. Sometimes it can be up to a few months, although that is unusual, very rare for that to happen. But I have managed to locate the 2 items that I need, along with the arcane lodestones. And she holds up, firstly, you haven't seen it before, but she kind of was digging around in the rubble, and pulls out a small wooden box. It's quite singed and damaged. It's clearly got some fire damage on it. She takes out what appears to be some kind of piece of crystal and a small gong that goes with it. This, she says, is the Shard of the Void, and along with the other item that I need, and she points down at this item, the Astrolab, I can open the gate. But, and she points, and you can all see it. The astrolab that she is showing you, there's a crack in it. And she's looking very, very worried about it. I think it is not, she spent some time investigating, and she says, I believe it is still operable. I believe that the astrolabe of eternity will still be able to work, but it increases the risk of something happening. I can use these items, and with the lodestones, and thank goodness you found 3 rather than just the 2 that I was hoping for. I can use this too with great certainty, almost without fail, a very, very low chance of non-success, take myself and all of you back to the time and the place, or close to the time at least, where you started from. There is not much risk with that. It's a comparatively simple spell, and I can do it even as a novice. To transport you to a different location, that is more challenging, as I have mentioned, and the risk does increase. Not dramatically, but the risk does increase, and you must be prepared to accept that risk, and must be prepared that I will do my very best to transport you where you wish, but there is a risk that things could go awry. Things go awry with spells like this. They can go awry quite dramatically. And as a quick aside, some brave person is going to get to roll for both the parties.
Can Mathen would want to inquire just quickly, so if she can.
No, she can't.
No.
Just for a second, Pete. To transport you to a different location, when the ritual has started, I'll try my best to summon a map. And that map will show you some of the key nodes of the essence flows in our world. Throughout the world that we are all from, there are flows of energy that course both deep within the Earth's crust and indeed around in the sky, but also particularly under the ground. And there are certain key points where this power, this energy, this essence will make itself known. Quite often at these node sites, there will be almost drawn to this power. There might well be a great lord's castle, or a mighty city, or a library perhaps, or the lair of some powerful ancient creature. But most commonly what may be found at these nodes are navigator columns, are the people, or the beings that help course and guide their way across the essence ways and across the essence paths to these different points. Now, by no means in every single one of these nodes will one of these items be there, but there is a good chance that one will. You'll be standing, if you are wanting to go to a different location, you'll be standing in the hex gate, and she points over at the object that's spinning. You will be standing there, and one of you will need to touch and press on the map that appears in front of you, the node or the closest node to which you want to be transported to. But you will need to do it quickly. And if the ritual is successful, then you will hopefully land either on or near that node, but you must be quick. Unless you make your decision rapidly, the spell will either fade or will potentially fail. Having the additional lodestone gives an increased chance of the successful ritual taking place, but it is not fail-safe, and certainly going in a different location does increase the risk somewhat. You understand?
Yes. So, but if we were to go to in 2 different parties, each party would have to do that.
2 separate locations, yes.
Yeah, awesome. Yes.
Okay. And just to check, we were all happy with the plan before we.
Yep.
So the two locations were Hero to
Jedi
Ely
Ratana.
and Twilight to Jedi Ratana.
Well, I think we.
As close
Darren, wasn't it? I thought we were going to go to.
as close to Dan as possible, but if not, then Ely. Yeah.
Yeah, but preferably the island, right? But the
Oh,
thing
definitely.
is, because obviously they're wanted, so it might be as well to disguise ourselves, the hero party, to disguise themselves as best they can before
Brilliant. Yep.
jumping.
Yep.
If that makes sense. I mean, Niathron can change her appearance, but and Etienne isn't known. But the remainder of you, I don't know if you want to cut your hair, put some earrings on. I don't know, whatever you. Cut your hair, top knot, whatever it is.
Put a bag over your head.
Put a bag over your head.
Hmm.
Hoods up,
Yes.
that kind of thing. Swap clothes. I don't know.
Sounds good. This guy's hero party.
It was the hero
disguised
party,
themselves.
Yeah.
The Twilight party's not.
Twilight Party's less of a concern where we're going though.
Twilight party still has people looking out for them, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to
Yep.
cover up, sure.
Cover faces, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nicholas, do you know where the island of Darn is? It's right by Ely, isn't it?
Nicholas isn't going there though.
Oh no, that's true.
But yeah, it's right by Ely. I've got the map in front of me, by the way. Am I allowed to do that?
No.
Okay.
Well, I can vaguely remember.
I can remember both. I believe.
All right, well you do it then.
Oh dear.
All right. So she looks around and says, "I'll need a few minutes to prepare, but I have the materials I need." So she just takes herself aside and she sits down. She sits cross-legged. She's breathing quite deeply and her eyes are closed. She's sitting down here. Any preparations from other people that we have, whose voices I haven't heard for quite some time? Anybody doing anything? Yeah. Please tell me what you're doing.
Where's my cat?
Victory's in your arms.
Oh, okay, good. Just checking.
Yep.
We're all carrying a variety of those objects, and Demos, and the chest. Do we need to divvy things up a bit?
We do actually. We need to divide the wealth.
Also, Nicholas is keen to get his short sword back from Neathanol.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, but if he's going to go to Taraknev, he wants the dead slaying short sword.
Fair enough, Sue.
Sorry.
It's all right. Neathanol would like to offer Tanya cash for her short sword.
What happens?
I don't know. Might have to work that. I don't know if you want to play that out something after the event, but
I think we should definitely all eat and drink.
yep.
Yeah.
And divide out all the wealth. And I think can we say that we have, even if we haven't, established who's taking what?
Yes, happy for you to. Yep. To in the
Or
intervening
whatever.
time, figure it
yeah.
out. Yes.
I reckon Hero probably wants to take Demos. Anyone else?
Just leave him with the other party. Yeah, I think we'll take him. We'll have him. Yeah, and then divide up the ingots.
Okay, so assume that dividing up the ingots happens in between sessions. Happy for that to happen. Anything from Askell, Grey, Jadar, Eros?
No, just helping the division, I guess. Yeah, and same for Jada.
We
I was
probably
wondering if maybe Askell, if we want to just do a paper scissors rock, or can we do like a timeshare on the earrings?
One each.
Uh,
that would render them useless.
maybe depending on the situation, do they, once someone has them, is it them forever, or can you
Well, you're
hand them out?
You do both need to attune to them. Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. I've tended to say in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but kind of gaming it, for want of a better term, kind of swapping items between each other. You know, hey, you have this to increase your power points. Not really. It'd have to be kind of, for argument's sake, making up a bit of a rule on the fly here. I'd have to say there'd have to be at least a period of rest, a day. Call it a day to. Basically, what I don't want to do is for one character to kind of use up all their power points and then hand another item to someone else and then they use up it. It kind of defeats the purpose, you know. So
yeah, that's fair.
the other thing we need to do is make some contingency plan about where we're going to meet again, should we require to.
Yeah, we're meeting up for Christmas. How are we going to stay in contact? This is sad.
Well, this is just it. We probably need specify a location, and possibly a way of getting sending messages to the other party. Obviously, we don't know where they're going to end up, but a likely location.
Did we meet at the? Because I think when we first met each other, we had lunch at a
Oh yeah,
restaurant or something in that fancy place with all the rabbit people and the fish people.
yeah.
I don't think they want to kill half of us though. So
Yeah, let's not go
That's
back
true.
there. Let's not go back to Manta. No.
Okay, maybe not that.
let's not go there. I would suggest somewhere, maybe just we don't really have anybody in common, do we? I mean, there's no person that we. And then she's going to be gone soon enough. Ideas?
That's a tricky one. I mean, is there any place that we've been that we haven't burnt our bridges?
Or burnt the town down.
Burnt the town. And anywhere that's I mean, if the parties are planning to go to different sort of places, aren't we? In a way.
I mean, I think Severin would disclose how the other party could get in touch with his mother. That's one possibility.
Yeah.
So he has a means of getting a message to her. But she's a long way from here, or where we're going to be. We could. The hero party, where the Twilight party is headed for Jabba Ratana. The hero party presumably are not known there. That could be a good place to head back to, on the assumption that we have to remember the Twilight party makes some arrangements while they're there to leave a message. Find a means. Do we know anything? Does anyone know anything about Jedi Ratana? What about Demos? Ask Demos. Oh, he's asleep. Anybody been in Jedi Ratana? Mythan's been around a bit.
I don't think she went to Jedi Ratana. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Oh, she did? Right.
If you remember, she got shipwrecked, and she ended up on an island with horrible white things that tried to eat people. And she was rescued along with her companions, by a group of Federation of the Sun Kush soldiers, or sailors actually. and the closest city to there was Jevo Rotana.
Awesome. Can she
So
suggest a place that's a
Give me,
connection?
yes, give me. Well, if she does a memory check, she might be able to remember the inn she stayed at.
So that means I've got to roll under her memory.
No, sorry, that was the way we used to do it. I mean, this was some pretty weird things happened there. Do you remember the kind of the smoke bombs that went off and the rest of it?
Oh, is that where we ended up?
No. You ended up in Travern.
In Travern, it was. Yeah.
So yeah, give me a roll, please, and add your memory bonus.
52 plus whole 1, I think. Yes, so 53.
She is really struggling to remember which city it was, because it was 20 years ago that Mithan was here, but she remembers the names of 2 inns, she thinks. One was either the Wise Giant, or the other was the Bronze Mace. She can't remember which was which, but she's pretty sure that one of those 2 inns, quite well known, she and her former companions stayed at either the Wise Giant or the Bronze Mace in Jevo Rotana.
Awesome. Wasn't the Bronze Mace the one in...
She can't remember.
No. Awesome. Okay, well, in that order, so that I think that's our point of connection, in that order. So if it's the Wise Giant, if there's one or the other, isn't it? She thinks?
Yes.
Okay.
She can't remember which city, which inn was in which city. Yes.
Okay, cool. So check for the Wise Giant or the Bronze Mace, and that could be we leave a message in whichever one is in that city.
And we come up with a let's use the terms Twilight and Hero, because they're not actually in the game.
Right.
So we could refer to, without having to use our names, the Twilight or the Hero. We could refer to ourselves by those names, and then leave word. Find a way to leave word in both of those places.
Cool.
And just to add a layer of complication or care, Neathanol says that if they find that area is compromised in any way, she will draw a symbol or carve a symbol on the entrance door frame, and she will demonstrate that symbol.
Who's doing that? Sorry, Neathanol.
Neathanol, and she suggests that the other do the same. If for any reason, it's
So she need to teach that to Tanya, or
or to the whole group. This is the sign.
Cool.
What else do we need to do? Group hugs. I'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow.
Oh,
Is this really it? Are we saying goodbye?
I don't know, we got next game.
well, that was a question: was do we want to wait? Do we risk resting here so we have full PowerPoints? Or do we just assume that it's going to be a quiet transition?
That's a good point.
I think get out of here.
Right.
We'll only roll another 50 and another. I mean, you know.
True. Mithan's question to Afsoon was if her injury was going to impair her ability to cast these spells and do this stuff.
Yes, it is.
Her injury would impair. So if she was to be healed, then it would be a better chance.
I think the conclusion you guys have come to is she had a shattered knee, and you couldn't repair the shattered knee.
Oh no, Mithan's got herbs that would do it. She's never considered Afsoon to be a nice enough person. Nor part of the group.
Oh, these herbs. I forgot about those.
Oh.
No, she'd be up front. She was like, I think you're no, she wouldn't say she's a bitch, but
So
So she-
Afsoon says yes, I'm in pain, and this is a very, very complex to spell to transport you to a different location. Yes, it's challenging, and the pain in my leg. This is obviously all translated through either Askel or Etienne. The pain absolutely inhibits my ability to cast.
Okay, so Mithan would suggest that she can brew up this birth the lass, bone repair shatter. It's a stalk brew. Magical herb mends shattered bones without need of surgery. The herb will only heal one shattered bone, so if there are many in the user's body, it will target the gravest injury, usually the one that provides the most penalty. It does take 12 hours to happen.
Okay.
What's the party's thoughts on that?
Well, if she needs it.
So this is the way Mithan thinks. She was able to float, so she wasn't going to slow us down. If this is a way to improve Mithan's chances to live, she's willing to do it.
Cool. Let's say do it.
Go Mithan.
Anyone else have a thought?
I love the fact that she only offers it now. That's brilliant.
It's not
So in character. Love it. And that means we rest for 12 hours, right?
Men would have to rest for 12 hours, yeah.
And
What's the PowerPoint recovery in 12 hours?
8 hours fully recovered.
But nobody's allowed to roll anything
Yeah.
Or Mithan will have to roll to do the potion.
apart from that.
Would not be a 50.
Or maybe she does. How do people feel? Is anyone strongly opposed? Or
It's a great idea. We can toast some marshmallows on that fire, have a little sleep, and eat soup. Stroke the
Lots of
cat.
soup. We
Say
can
goodbye.
reminisce. We can
We can
tell
reminisce.
some stories.
Lots of praise.
Sing some songs.
her cat might turn up.
It could.
I guess we can run through our stories again, so that the other party is acutely aware of the details of the other.
And to do any things that we forget to mention now.
Yeah, and probably need to plant some sentries and yes.
Is it wise to stay there though? Because we had the Eldritch Horrors turned up.
Yeah.
They couldn't get in the safe room, but there is no safe room, so perhaps we
What
need
we're
to
lifting it.
get out of there.
Yep.
There's no defensive.
And do good spells with O'Neill injured.
Yeah. Bit of a risk.
I mean, Neathanol has enough power points to cast a single wall up.
Oh, Mithan can put wood walls up.
I don't know if that's good by a fire though.
Oh no, not necessarily. But not right by the fire. I mean,
On the fire. Yeah, then, yeah.
10 o'clock, guys. I'd be keen to play the kind of a resolution point tonight. What do you guys?
Should we wall it up?
I wonder if we just should go.
Yeah. Eswell votes to go.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what she's going to do with her hip, but and we can sort of massage her. Etienne offered to massage her thigh while she does it. Or something. I don't know.
we need some morphine. You know what morphine? To drug her up for a little short time.
Well, I should drug her up to do a spell.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know about
It's a trippy spell, though. You know, I reckon we.
All right, let's go.
Should we skedaddle?
Is Afsoon coming with us, or?
She's going to her own place.
Our own time too.
So, Etienne will better start his well, yeah, his goodbyes and all the rest of it, and says all the requisite nice words that I can't be bothered to say because it's 2 minutes past 10.
Where's your role-playing spirit, Graham?
All right, bloody hell.
I think it's used up on talking to Quidos.
You can monologue it on Friday night. How's that?
To myself.
Well, Graham's getting his thoughts in order. Any other actions, goodbyes, farewells from anybody else?
I would definitely give Keros a little just shy smile and say goodbye and tell her that he likes the cat.
Oh snap! Keros was just going to run and jump into his arms with the cat.
Etienne says, "My worship is within the heart that rejoices. All acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Let their beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and passion within you. Love is misconstrued. They wanted you to believe that love is weak. You cannot curse and kiss with the same mouth. They wanted to believe that the root of love is romance, soft, wide-eyed. Regardless of whether you desire it, love is what sits at the core of our world. It is stronger than greed and hate, jealousy and pain. And what brings us together will always be more powerful than what keeps us apart." And then he kissed her.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah.
Woof.
Whoa.
Hot in here.
Yeah. Getting a bit warm. Nice.
Jada doesn't say much, but she nods her head and her eyes are full of tears.
Okay. Any other farewells?
High fives all round, I think. Yeah, chest bumps. Yeah, I mean, swap addresses, keep in touch, and best of luck with the committee, stroke union, and next time we meet, we'll have saved the world. Woohoo!
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, and God, I feel like there's something we should be doing.
Yeah, agreed.
Look, we swapped information, right? We know all each other's stories. We've got a place to meet. Contingency in summoning Severin's mother.
Yep.
I don't know. Bitterroot? I'm not sure. Like what? He's too far away, isn't he?
This points Afsoon wiping tears away after Etienne's spoken to her. Just turns to look at you all, and she says to Etienne and Askel, who can understand, "I'm ready."
All right, let's do it.
Boom. Let's go.
Who's going first?
Just the luckiest.
Ask will go first.
Well,
So you-
Twilight then.
So you go together as a party.
Oh yeah. Twilight.
So, Severin, Nicholas,
Oh, it's a magic carpet.
Jada,
Ooh.
Ray. Lost mine. Oh, they're in the fire. And who am I missing? Tenya. It's here. And that's 4, that's 5.
Did you get Nicholas? Askel, Tanya, Severin, Grey, Jada, Nicholas.
Here you go. They take their places inside the circle. And you can see these strange symbols rising up in, perhaps unsurprisingly, purple around you. Afsoon sits down in front. Anything that the hero party's doing at this stage? Anything from Keros?
Waving and maybe a bit teary, and I don't know what Victory's doing.
Okay. anything from anything? Anybody else as your companions step onto this strange whirling device? And the very first thing that Afsoon does is she takes into her hand the little gong, little hammer for the strange crystal, and she strikes it once. And the sounds reverberates throughout this terrible place, and it seems to be all-consuming. And then suddenly, some of you are looking at Afsoon, and you see that her lips are moving. You think she might be chanting, but you can't hear anything. And then slowly, her voice begins to raise. And as her voice continues, and the chime in the background continues, there's more sounds and whirling, and a small wind begins to rise and move the clothing and the hair amongst the 6 members of the Twilight Party standing in this spinning circle. And then Afsoon gets to her feet, and she walks forward. And she strikes some kind of invisible barrier, something in front of her. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And there's a pause. The sound reverberates and swells around you, and suddenly this shimmering map appears in front of you. And Nicholas, no pressure. Can you see the GM on screen?
Yes.
GM is holding up a timer. You have that length of time to tell me which node you're going to. Go.
Oh, Tibaritana.
Sure.
It's the one on the island in the northwest of the Sea of Cantana.
So tell me where that is.
Where's your pointer? Yep, there. Yeah, cool. Go. Yep, down and slightly to the right. No, to the left now. That's it. That island, it's got 2 dots on it. Yep, gonna choose the one to the right. Don't know which one we should go for, but gonna go for the one to the right.
That one
That's
there?
it. Yep, great.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, yeah.
Okay. Nicholas, you step forward and you reach up and you touch that precise dot. And all of a sudden, all sound around you ceases. And all you hear the frantic beating of your own heart. And then there is a pause. And then and you're gone. For the hero party, you've just watched your companions just disappear into a void. They have just ceased to be. They have completely and utterly vanished. And for Team Twilight, we'll take it offline till next time. Hero party, what do you do?
What do you reckon? Go back for the rest of the ingots? I think we'll do similarly.
I think we should. Just check with Afsoon. That was supposed to happen, right?
So she is completely and utterly. Hang on a sec. Just need some sound effects here. Second. Coming. So Afsoon looks up at the hero party. She's absolutely bathed in sweat. Her entire face is just dripping, and she's clearly in agony. She says, "If you're going to go now. My strength is failing. You should go now."
Right, let's go now.
Agreed.
Do anything different?
No, I'm going with them.
Just before you do, I'd like one brave member of Team Twilight to roll, please, and see how successful or otherwise that ritual spell was. Who would like to roll? No pressure here for anybody, of course.
I'll do it if no one else wants to.
Go for it.
$53.
3.
It'd be funny if he rolled a 50.
Wouldn't that be funny?
And left us with a fire demon before we just...
Okay. All right. Very much indeed, Jada, for that information. I will take that up the next time that we play with Twilight, and I've recorded that result, and we will see what happens. Hero party, you step up, and you follow the same. Afsoon are rocking backwards and forwards. She again strikes the crystal.
And obviously we've got hoods up and all the rest of it, and hacked our hair off, whatever.
Sure.
And Demos.
And you're carrying the floating guy as well.
Yeah, him.
She begins her chant. And again, a strange wind starts to fly around you. Keros, this is... you're a magician of some power. This is well and truly above and beyond your pay grade, above your knowledge. The wind rises, the sound rises. And then finally, as Afsoon's voice increases, she steps forward and she strikes some kind of invisible shield. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And all of a sudden, yet again, her voice stops as well. And that's just the chime. And all of a sudden, yet again, there is this strange, ethereal, shimmering map in front of the hero party. Who reaches forth to touch it? And where do they touch?
Are you right with this, Pete?
Yeah, happy for Leif to he'd consult a little bit. But can we zoom in again, please? So into there's a peninsula that juts out from the very bottom of the Sea of Quintana, and there's a red dot above it. Does that look like it's on an island, or is it in the middle of the ocean?
I'd say it was on an island. They don't typically they're not under the sea, are they?
Let's go with that one then, because I reckon that could be Darren.
Yeah.
Yep.
This one, yeah.
Correct. The one that you tapped. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Done. So you reach forward and touch it. Who actually does it, by the way? Leif?
Yeah, Leif would.
Leif. Okay. And again, everything around you stops, except the beating of your heart. And then everything just seems pause, and all of a sudden not there. Pick it up.
Hurrah!
Oh, thank God. I need GPS to get out of my cul-de-sac. I was so happy that Keros did not have to do that.
Yeah.
Is Keros going to roll, though?
What I would like somebody to do is to roll to see whether or not that ritual succeeded or failed.
Oh, no.
Get a victory to roll it.
Okay, the cat's rolling, which you know is always a winner. Oh, dear. 37.
Not a failure.
Interesting.
No, not interesting.
Well, don't forget any of these are masked necessarily, so it doesn't. Okay, cool.
Don't say it like that. Okay. Oh.
There we have it. One way or the other, your characters are either dead, turned into frogs, gone, something else.
Oh my.
That's where, dear gentle viewer, and players, that this game of Hero and Twilight is going to come to an end. And the two parties have now gone their separate ways. Please join us online for the separate stories of, firstly, Twilight of the Old Order, and secondly, Ain't No Place for a Hero. There we have it, guys.
Hurrah! Well done. That was excellent.
Oh my goodness. How long was that journey?
I don't know.
Many
It's
months.
most of our life in that bloody purple place. I'm quite sad to think.
I'm quite sad we've gone our separate ways.
Me
I have to say.
too.
I mean, it
Didn't
could have
have
been
to.
better circumstances, I think.
True.